So we had a little adventure last night. It's a little hard to see in this picture, but the park behind our house is a pretty good mess. A lot of mud everywhere. The creek backed up during the storms last night and flooded everything. Fortunately, we didn't get anything in the house or in the basement or anything like that. A little hard to see in this picture here, but I'm going to go down a little closer and see if I can record a few more areas down here. The park is an absolute mess with mud and everything. So I'm going to go down a little bit farther, get a closer look. So this is the creek behind our house. Running pretty quick. Which isn't really that abnormal after a big rainstorm or anything like that, but this is pretty deep. It's a little bit scary because it can rise really fast and recede really fast. So last night when it came up into the yard and right up to the porch of the back of our house, it came up quick, and then just as quick as it came up, it receded back. This is a closer look at the park behind our house. As you can see, there's mud everywhere. This is actually a parking lot where the basketball hoop is there. And right over to the playground, all caked in mud because the water came right up over top. You have the pavilion over here, same thing, mud everywhere. And then it follows the road straight up the hill there towards our road, and that's all mud too. A couple inches worth of mud just sitting there. Be kind of fun for mudsliding if you wanted to do that. I'm going to see if I can get closer to our yard and see how messy it is over there. So this is the creek directly behind our house. You can see it's still running pretty quick, pretty close to the ground here where my feet are. When the water came up, took out all the bushes right here that are along the side of the park. And it came up right into the park. All mud right now. A bunch of puddles back here. There's actually some tires off in the distance that are laying there, some debris that washed up from farther up. So I'm going to walk straight back towards our house. You can get an idea of how far this water actually came up. I'm going to walk through all this mud here, gross and sticky. See if I can, oh yeah, my feet are getting caked. Oh yeah, that's nasty. And this is a big puddle right here. Fortunately, I got my old crappy shoes on. I'll walk right through it. Oh yeah, wet feet. Reminds me of the steeplechase, but muddier. So it came right into our yard here, and there's a big tree in the very back of our yard. There's a bunch of branches laying underneath. Some of them got washed up here. Some of those are from before too, that I just haven't cleaned up yet. Kind of hard walking through here. It's all muddy and slippery and everything. Oh, my phone just got a text message. Anyway, the water all the way up through the yard. You can see the steps in the distance there. That's where our house, that's where the water came right up to those steps. It goes up to a landing and then up to the back porch of the house. Fortunately, it didn't go any farther than that. I keep walking here. Our yard is a big mud pit. Just for the record, this is June 1st, 2010, just in case I forget, so that I have that written down. So the water was probably about 1.5 to 2 feet deep all the way up, still going towards the house. This is about, maybe 3/4 of a football field length from the creek up to the back porch here. You see we're getting pretty close to the back. And there's these landings right here that come down off of our porch. The water came all the way up. When I first came out in the middle of the night last night at 11:30, the water came all the way up to this landing right here, this first one. And within about an hour, it went right to about that first step on the bottom of the steps right there. So it came up real quick. And it crept up there. We didn't even know what was going on until the police officer knocked on our door at 11:30 last night to let us know that the creek had come up past the pavilion back behind me in the park, but we didn't realize how far it actually came before I came out here and looked at it. So the water made it all the way up onto the landing here, which is all now covered in mud. Have to spray that off. And it came all the way to this first step. Fortunately, it didn't come any farther than that. Me and Jimmy, as soon as we found out how close it was, we started praying. We moved everything out of the basement just in case. We started praying, and about an hour later, the water had receded back to there again. So within an hour, it receded back about 10 or 15 feet. So prayer works. God is good. Fortunately, we didn't have anything that came into the house.